What if I told you that the earliest signs of a heart attack don't always feel like a dramatic, chest-clutching scene from a movie? Sometimes they're subtle, confusing, and dangerously easy to ignore. And ignoring them can be a fatal mistake. Cardiovascular disease is a leading cause of death globally, but a significant number of these deaths could be prevented if people simply recognized and acted on the very first warning signs. This is where one of the most important phrases in all of medicine comes into play. Time is muscle. Remember that phrase. We're going to come back to it. What it means is that for every minute that blood flow to the heart is blocked, more of the heart muscle dies. It's irreversible damage. In this video, we're going to cover the 7 key warning signs of a heart attack that everyone absolutely needs to know. But we're going to go deeper than that. We'll explore why a heart attack happens in the first place, the crucial differences in symptoms between men and women, why we're seeing a frightening rise in heart attacks among younger people, and most importantly, the single most critical action plan you must have ready if you ever suspect you or a loved one is having a heart attack. So, what exactly is a heart attack? Think of your heart as a powerful, tireless pump. Like any engine, it needs its own fuel supply to keep working. This fuel, oxygen-rich blood, is delivered through a network of small arteries that sit on the surface of the heart itself. These are called the coronary arteries. They are the heart's own critical fuel lines. Over many years, due to factors like diet, genetics, and lifestyle, these fuel lines can start to get clogged. This process is called atherosclerosis. It's the slow, silent buildup of fatty plaques, mostly made of cholesterol, on the inner walls of the arteries. You can think of it like rust or mineral deposits forming inside a pipe, making the passageway narrower and rougher over time. For a long time, this might not cause any problems. But a heart attack happens when one of these plaques suddenly becomes unstable and ruptures. When that plaque breaks open, your body's defense systems see it as an injury and rush to heal it by forming a blood clot right on top of the rupture. But this life-saving mechanism in the wrong place becomes a disaster. That blood clot can grow so large that it completely blocks the artery, cutting off all blood flow to the section of the heart muscle it supplies. Without that oxygen, the heart muscle begins to die. That is a heart attack. In fact, studies have shown that events causing acute stress, or even significant disruptions to our sleep patterns, can be the trigger that causes a plaque to rupture, leading to a spike in heart attacks. Recognizing this process is happening is the key to survival. So let's get into the 7 key signs you need to watch for. The first and most well-known warning sign is chest discomfort. This is the classic symptom, but it's important to understand what it actually feels like. Most heart attacks involve discomfort in the center of the chest that lasts for more than a few minutes, or it might go away and then come back. It can feel like an uncomfortable pressure, a squeezing sensation, a feeling of fullness, or a heavy weight. It is usually not a sharp, stabbing pain that just lasts for a second and disappears. It's more of a persistent, deep discomfort that makes you feel that something is seriously wrong. The second key sign is discomfort in other areas of the upper body. A heart attack isn't always confined to the chest. The pain signals from the heart can get mixed up in the nervous system and be felt elsewhere. This is called referred pain. So pay close attention to symptoms in one or both arms. It's more common in the left arm, but it can be in both. You might also feel pain or discomfort in your back, especially between the shoulder blades, your neck, your jaw, or even your stomach. People often mistake this for a pulled muscle or indigestion, which is why it's so dangerous to ignore. The third symptom is shortness of breath. This can happen with or without any chest discomfort at all. You might find yourself struggling to catch your breath even while you're at rest or doing something very simple. This happens because when the heart's pumping function is compromised during an attack, it can't circulate blood efficiently. This causes fluid to back up into the lungs, making it difficult to breathe. If you suddenly feel breathless and you haven't exerted yourself, this is a major red flag. The fourth set of signs are what we can group together as the body's systemic response to a crisis: a cold sweat, nausea, and lightheadedness. When your body goes into distress, it activates the fight-or-flight response. This can cause you to suddenly break out into a cold, clammy sweat, even if you're not hot. It's a very different feeling from the sweat you get from exercise. You might also feel intensely nauseous or even vomit, and because your brain may not be getting enough oxygenated blood, you could feel dizzy, lightheaded, or like you're about to faint. The fifth warning sign, and this is especially important for women to recognize, is unusual or unexplained fatigue. This isn't just feeling a little tired. This is a profound, heavy sense of exhaustion that might come on suddenly or can even develop over several days. You might feel too exhausted to do simple, everyday activities that you normally handle with ease. It's a debilitating fatigue that seems to have no clear cause. The sixth sign is more psychological, but it is a very real physiological response: anxiety or a sense of impending doom. Many heart attack survivors report feeling an overwhelming and unexplainable sense of anxiety just before and during the attack. They feel like something terrible is about to happen. This isn't just a nervous feeling, it can be as intense as a severe panic attack, but it's triggered by the body's internal alarm system screaming that it's in a state of emergency. And finally, the seventh sign is what we call warning pains, or angina. Sometimes the body gives you warnings for days or even weeks before a major heart attack. This can take the form of recurrent chest pain or pressure, called angina, that is triggered by physical exertion and gets better when you rest. If you find that every time you walk up a flight of stairs or carry groceries, you get that chest discomfort, but it goes away when you sit down, that is your body telling you that a coronary artery is severely narrowed and is on the brink of a complete blockage. This is not something to wait on, it's a critical warning to see a doctor immediately. Now let's talk about a crucial nuance: the difference in symptoms between men and women. While chest pain is still the most common symptom for both genders, women are significantly more likely to experience some of the other so-called atypical symptoms. They may have shortness of breath, nausea and vomiting, and pain in the back or jaw, sometimes with very little or even no noticeable chest discomfort. This is one of the key reasons why heart attacks in women are so often misdiagnosed or dismissed, both by themselves and, unfortunately, sometimes by medical professionals. They might think it's the flu, acid reflux, or just anxiety. So it is absolutely vital to understand that a heart attack doesn't have to look the same for everyone. Another alarming trend is the rise of heart attacks in younger people, those under 40 or 50. Why is this happening? It's largely driven by the earlier onset of major risk factors in our modern lives. Poor diets high in processed foods, increasingly sedentary lifestyles, chronic stress, smoking and vaping, and rising rates of obesity and type 2 diabetes are all contributing. The tragedy here is that younger people often don't have the same warning system of angina that older individuals might develop over time. Their first sign of heart disease can be a massive, sudden heart attack because they haven't had those smaller warning episodes. This brings us to the risk factors you need to be aware of. The best treatment for a heart attack is to prevent it from ever happening. The biggest risk factors are high blood pressure, high LDL or bad cholesterol, diabetes, smoking, obesity, a sedentary lifestyle, and chronic, unmanaged stress. And if you recognized yourself in any of those risk factors, especially if you struggle to keep your blood pressure in the normal range, then what I'm about to share is crucial. Recent breakthrough research from scientists at the University of Virginia has uncovered what they believe is the real, hidden driver of high blood pressure. And it's not what most people think. They discovered the control mechanism is actually hidden inside the tiny cells of your kidneys. What's truly remarkable is that this same research points to a powerful way to support healthy kidney function and maintain normal blood pressure, using a potent natural ingredient our ancestors called the nectar of the gods. Understanding this could be the key to preventing the devastating consequences of a heart attack or stroke. I strongly urge you to watch a free, special video that explains this discovery in detail. If you're watching on your phone, you can point your camera at the QR code on the screen right now to open it. If you're on a computer, or if you prefer, you can also click the link I've pinned in the very first comment below. Now let's talk about the universal emergency plan that everyone needs to know. So, what should you do if you find yourself or someone you're with experiencing these symptoms? This is your action plan, and it's not complicated. First and most importantly, do not wait. Do not try to tough it out or wait to see if it goes away. Remember, time is muscle. The second you suspect a heart attack, you need to call your local emergency services like 911 in the United States. Do not attempt to drive yourself or have a family member drive you to the hospital. Call an ambulance. Why? Because paramedics are trained professionals who can begin life-saving treatment the moment they arrive. They can administer oxygen, give you an aspirin, and monitor your heart with an ECG right there in the ambulance. They can also notify the hospital's emergency room that they are en route with a potential heart attack patient, so a specialized team can be ready and waiting for you the second you arrive. Those minutes can make the difference between a full recovery and permanent disability or death. Before an emergency ever happens, you should have a plan. Know which hospital in your area is best equipped for cardiac emergencies. Keep a list of your current medications, their dosages, and any allergies you have in your wallet or on your phone. This information is invaluable to an emergency room doctor. While emergency treatment is incredible, the best treatment is always prevention, and there is so much you can do. The path to a healthier heart involves the lifestyle choices we make every day. Get regular exercise. Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate activity most days of the week. Eat a heart-healthy diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins, and low in processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats. If you smoke, quitting is the single best thing you can do for your heart. Manage your weight, and find healthy ways to cope with stress. Prioritize getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night. And finally, maintain your social connections. Studies have shown that loneliness and social isolation can increase the risk of heart attack by nearly 30%. To wrap this up, I want to leave you with that one critical message again. Time is muscle. Knowing these signs gives you the power to save your own life or the life of someone you love. Don't be afraid to be wrong, be afraid to be too late. Please, get a regular cardiological checkup, especially if you have any of the risk factors we discussed or a family history of heart disease. Early detection and prevention are your strongest weapons. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and more importantly, share it with your family and friends. The information in this video could truly save a life. Subscribe for more essential health content and let us know in the comments what health topic you'd like to see covered next. Thank you for watching.